Tonight on Golf Central, for the first time since the Tour Championship, numbers 1, 2, and 3 in the world are competing in the same tournament. We preview the week ahead for Spieth, Day, and McIlroy. Also ahead, he's the NBA's MVP and a golf fanatic. Steph Curry talks about his swing and his similarities to Jordan Spieth. Plus, the LPGA Tour's in Singapore this week and ready to rock. We'll tell you why these players traded the course for the stage. That's right now on Golf Central.
Golf Central, brought to you by Titleist.
They are 1, 2, and 3 in the official World Golf Ranking, and on Thursday they'll all be playing together. Jordan Spieth, Jason Day, Rory McIlroy, the feature group to watch in the opening round of the WGC Cadillac Championship. They go off number 10 at 11:32 Eastern Time. With that, we say hello. Welcome to Golf Central. Lisa Cornwell, Trip Eisenhower. Always great to have you with us. Spieth and McIlroy both coming off missed cuts in their last starts. What do you expect from those guys this week at Doral?
Well, they're going to make the cut. This is a no-cut event, so they are going to play on Saturday and Sunday. No question about that. But I love seeing these three guys grouped together, the three best players in the world. I don't think there's any question about that. Rickie Fowler's trying to rein in on that party a little bit. You got to look at Rory McIlroy last week, the things he did well. What did he do well? He struck his ball fine last week. He was a little bit inconsistent, but you kind of expect that at PGA National Champion golf course. He did not get the ball up and down, and his bunker game was not very solid as well either. And this season it hasn't been well. So if he could polish that up a little bit, I think Rory McIlroy is going to be fine. Jordan Spieth, on the other hand, just an anomaly at Northern Trust. I mean, the guy never misses as many putts as he missed, in particular in that 79 that he shot. And Jason Day, well, he's been kind of pacing himself to get ready for Augusta. This is part of his march to get right up to Augusta National and be ready to win a green jacket and win back-to-back major championships. I think all three of these guys are going to play well, but again, another difficult test for these players this week.
So you heard it here first, folks. Bold prediction from Eisenhower. They're all making the cut. From 1 to 3 to 4 through 6, Bubba Watson, Rickie Fowler, Henrik Stenson. Stenson, who, by the way, is making his first PGA Tour start of 2016. This trio goes off number 1 at 12:38. The last time we saw Bubba, he collected the winner's check at the Northern Trust Open, and he's looking to carry that momentum to Doral.
To be honest with you, I feel like any golf tournament that I show up at, I have the ability to play not just one shot. I don't just have length. I don't know if we've noticed that over the last couple of years, but there's other things to my game, not just my good looks and my length. But I feel like every golf tournament that I show up to, I can perform. Now, will I? That's the question. You know, my consistency over the last few years has showed that I can, and I can be around the leaderboard on Sunday, and that's the ultimate goal. And then hopefully, I'll make 1 or 2 putts on Sunday and take the victory.
They do say good looks will get you everywhere, so why not? Doral has been a pretty good spot for Mr. Watson the last several years, even though Bubba has yet to win there. He's finished in the top 3 of the last 4 years. And how about this? His 32 under total since 2012. That's the best of anyone in that span. Speaking of good looking, a couple of years ago, players saw a much different Doral after Gil Hanse finished his redesign. Here's the good looking part. Todd Lewis, he's on site for us at the Blue Monster. Todd, what are the players saying about the changes to the course now that they've had a couple of years to get used to it?
Well, if you remember, Lisa, last year, many of the players left Trump National Doral frustrated, and for good reason. Last year, Trump National Doral was the 5th most difficult non-major venue on the PGA Tour schedule. But talking to players today, those frustrations have been replaced with some optimism, mainly because there have been some tweaks to the golf course since last year's event, mainly due to some broadening of landing areas on some holes that will benefit the mid to short hitters in the field. But make no mistake, this is a very long golf course that tips out at more than 7,500 yards with water on a majority of these holes, making it very difficult to post a red number on the Blue Monster.
It definitely suits the bombers. It's a difficult golf course, a lot of force carries. You definitely can bite off some distance when you have some force, when you can carry at 300 yards. You know, the winners in the past here have been bombers, and the top players have been bombers. So that right there shows you what kind of golf course this is.
It's definitely an advantage whenever you can hit away longer on any golf course. This being a longer golf course and with the wind blowing, it's definitely an advantage.
Golf, you can have any kind of trait and do well at a golf course. There are some force carries out here. I know You know, you watch a guy like Dustin who won last year. I mean, it seems like 18, the water isn't even in play for the guy. You know, a guy like Bubba, you know, where some of us are struggling to, you know, it's a deep carry. So, yeah, I mean, there are holes where if you can bomb it, I mean, it's going to take a lot of stuff out of play.
I think it's a fun golf course. I think it's very major-esque. All these golf courses are tough that you play in majors, and you come here and it's a hard golf course. Greens are always firm. You've got to put the ball well, and you've got to put the ball in the fairway, so it's kind of a major championship test. When you look at the stats of the guys who won, look at DJ last year, and you know, it is a bomber's golf course, and you need to play well. You need to hit the ball. You need to hit the ball straight, and you need to hit the ball long, so it kind of plays in my advantage.
You hear people say that bombers have an advantage here, but what course does a bomber not have an advantage? If he hits it, Dustin Johnson hits it 40 yards past me, that's an advantage at Hilton Head, which is because he can hit iron where I'm hitting 3 wood, say. So they have the advantage. But with that said, I think any player, some of the best players in the world, if they play well and hit good golf shots, anyone can win.
Yeah, you got to hit it long here, but you got to hit it straight too with all the water in play. By the way, this is the final year with Cadillac as the title sponsor for this World Golf Championship. Trump National Doral has a contract to be the venue through 2023 if the sponsor wants to have the World Golf Championship here at Trump National Doral. So even if Cadillac re-ups next year and signs a long-term contract, they still could move out of Doral, which has been on the PGA Tour schedule for more than 5 decades. I asked players if this is of course a hypothetical, if this WGC event moved out of Doral, would they be disappointed? Some said yes, with all the nostalgia here. Others said they would not mind. We'll have to see how this develops, Lisa, in boardrooms across the country.
Certainly an interesting topic of conversation, Todd. Thank you very much. Tripp, it's interesting. We talked about the redesign. 2012-13, it was one of the easiest on the PGA Tour. The last couple of years, it's been one of the most difficult. Redesigns aren't always going this direction, but this is basically like a redesign on steroids.
Yeah, I guess so. You could describe it as that. But the first year of this, and this speaks to a little bit of what Gil Hanse and Donald Trump set out to do. They wanted to test the players, but the first year of the golf course, it was firm. There were firm conditions, and there went a little over the top. There were some shots, some well-hit shots, some shots placed exactly where you wanted to place them that ended up in bad spots. But this is what I like about what Trump and Gil Hanse are doing. They're listening to the players. They're making changes. They softened some of these changes last year, and consequently, we saw a little bit better scoring than we did the year before. Still an extremely tough test, mind you. It's still a demanding test, but it's more fair than what the players faced in that first year. So this is a good thing. This is not, hey, this is how we did it, and we're sticking with it. There are each and every year making little tweaks. But one thing you can count on this golf course, South Beach is known for its sand and its water. Well, this has got plenty of sand and it's got plenty of water. This golf course, in fact, the last 2 years, 599 balls in the water in the last 2 years here, and the highest percentage of balls in the bunker. There's a ton of sand here. In fact, that's the most on the PGA Tour the last 2 seasons. 18% of their tee shots found these bunkers. So look for that this week, the players that can stay out of the water and stay out of the bunkers to have some success.
Yeah, note to self, I'm not playing the Blue Monster anytime soon. Thanks, Tripp. We'll continue to talk about it because the evolution does continue later in this show. We'll discuss the changes that have been made. Coming up next, as we turn the calendar from February to March, John Feinstein gives you his biggest golf moment from the last 29 days. Also ahead, Gary Williams sits down with NBA MVP Steph Curry to talk about his love for the game and why he sees a little bit of himself in Jordan Spieth. Plus, these LPGA superstars, they let their hair down. We'll show you the lighter side of the ladies on tour later on Golf Central.
Golf Central is brought to you by the Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Make a difference in your game. Grip Confidence. Grip Golf Pride.